when I started, it was the first year that we really had full 4 years, if you will, because the '64 class was the first one went through. They'd moved up, and at that time that's John Reed's presidency, and we were making changes like whether or not they'd been the Beavers and out at the old fort. We became the Raiders at that time. Went from green and yellow, which was Colorado State University. We were an offshoot, being the ag and mining. We were the Aggies, and so we went to the Raiders, and blue and yellow, which big changes for us at that time.
So you came in the same year as Dwayne Smith.
Exactly.
But he started on faculty. Did you ever have a class with Dwayne?
I probably had all Dwayne's classes, plus, and we're still good friends. And Dwayne, I was on a wrestling scholarship, and Dwayne actually helped out our coach, Jerry McCullough, to drive us to different places. One of my favorite people. When some students, it's really, what Fort Lewis had to offer at the time is what they needed. The Mick Reavers, the people who really turned those students on to what college could be all about. And you can go right down the line. I mean, the Bob Lundquists in the counseling offices who at Fort Lewis really took an interest. I mean, we took some students in our window for the index that if you looked at it on paper, they wouldn't make it. I mean, we're talking to some students were fairly severe when it comes to dyslexia and all. And yet with help from the Bob Lundquist, the Susan McGinnis, those students actually had somebody that really cared him, and they took off. They did fantastic.
That you might refer to as a mentor, or some of your favorite professors when you were out there?
Well, I came in 1967 and started as a freshman and met Harlan, who was a senior, and we got married after he graduated, so I only went 1 year there. And we moved to Gallup, New Mexico, and decided that he wanted to work on he'd gotten his master's degree over at NAU, but we wanted to work on my degree. So we came back to Fort Lewis and lived on campus in, was it Snyder? No.
It was in the Baders.
In the Bader apartments as head residents. Don Bushnell was probably my greatest mentor because I had great math anxiety. And so, you have to take all these methods classes, and I was just bombing in math. And so he said, well, I want you to go and tutor advanced placement elementary students. And I said, well, what am I going to have to teach them? And so he gave me a pre-algebra book. And he said, you're going to have to teach pre-algebra. And I said, I can't do this. I'm just terrified. And he said, no, you can do it. He said, you're going to have to go and really study, and I'll tutor you along as you're doing all of this. I'd never had any interest in science, and I started in the science programs taking zoology and advanced biology with Preston Summers, and just fell in love with the courses that he taught. And he just had so much passion for his material, and as a professor he was excellent and very caring. And I ended up with a minor in science.
Wow.
We're hearing that.
Faculty, without a doubt, you can go back to faculty, at least at that period of time, is what brought the students. All we had to do was get a student to come visit.